From the game studio behind the best-selling VR experiences of I Expect You to Die and Among Us VR comes Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire. In this single-player horror game, you are transformed into a vampire slayer who is on a mythic quest to destroy vampires before they wake. Tension builds as you rely on silence and precision to disarm all the traps in the various vampires' defenses. Unlike other VR horror games on the market, Silent Slayer relies on puzzle solving and precise use of tools to vanquish these monsters. You'll use a pry bar, clippers, and even a hook made from a finger bone to complete your mission. Naturally, stakes will also be provided. This jump scare VR experience is meant for the bravest of souls. Can you pass the test? Get Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire today on the MetaQuest store, or wishlist it on Steam. And for listeners of the Ruff Talk VR podcast, we have an exclusive discount code for 10% off by using code RUFFSlayer-890-4FC. That's RUFFSLAYER-890-4FC. Just visit the link in our show notes and use the code RUFFSlayer-890-4FC for 10% off Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire.
Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We have a loaded episode of VR news with you today because, well, there's the standard all the news that comes every week, right? And then also last week was Upload VR's gaming showcase, which
was pretty cool, man.
You know, I no audio issues.
No.
Pretty loaded stack of games to show. So we have plenty to discuss. We'll be talking, like I said, obviously the latest and greatest in VR anyway, but then we'll also talk a lot of the things that kind of stuck out from us or stuck out to us on the showcase. So do you want to kick it off or do you want me to?
That doesn't matter.
Well, you know what? I'll go a different route. Then I'll actually talk about something. I don't think this was on the showcase. I think this came as a separate announcement, but the same day. So Creature and SideQuest announced probably about a year ago or so, would you say, that they had a $1 million indie fund.
Which was pretty friggin' the interview we did also. Was
with Douglas North Cook from Creature was awesome. He gave a lot of insight into their
how it works.
Yeah, their idea with it. You know, he didn't want to fund 100 games that go nowhere. They'd rather fund a couple games that go somewhere with that money. And they announced their first candidate that they picked as, you know, successfully gone through the application process, and they're going to support and back this game. It's Maestro, the masterclass.
I can't argue with that one bit.
No,
because to me it's a great game.
We've been waiting for more. Fiending.
Not everyone's favorite, but I personally loved it. So to know there's going to be a bunch more. And
we talked about it last week because they were teasing some news about it coming this week. And I figured it was Upload VR showcase stuff. But like I said, I don't think this was on the showcase. I think this came separately. I mean, dude, we loved it from the second it came out. A lot of people did. It got a lot of praise.
They did show Maestro on the showcase.
I think they showed a trailer of it, but I think the announcement of it was already done prior.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Okay.
Like, I think they just showed off some stuff, but, you know, the news about...
Looks like some new stuff going on in it as well.
Well, the demo was only one song, and you got to think in this year or two that this game's been marinating, waiting for more.
Oh, dude, I've been fiending. For years, I've been fiending for this to come out.
What a perfect game to win that first successful grant, you know?
Congratulations.
And Douglas North Cook did say on Twitter, he said the first of 3 games they're going to be funding through this fund. So we kind of got a tidbit to that too. Like the actual number of games that are going to be coming out of this fund. And if Maestro, the masterclass, is any indicator of the quality of game that they're looking for, I'm excited for what these next 2 are. Because it sounds like they've already secured the next 2. They just haven't announced it.
Well, and we know the vetting process that they're doing for the games that get chosen is like, it's pretty strict. It's not as loose as I would have thought from a like, hey, we're just, we're giving money to help. No, it's got to be something that you believe in. It's got to be provable.
Something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's got to have some originality. There's a whole litany.
It's got to be fun
of things that they got to check off those boxes. But at the end of the day, I mean, like you said, this is the first of 3. And this is not a bad first one.
No, you referenced it at the start, the interview that we did with Doug Northcook, I recommend if you're interested in learning more about the way this fund works or the potential, what they're looking for in the games that are going to be announced for it, I highly recommend going back and giving that episode a listen, that interview. So huge props to Maestro, the masterclass, for, getting through the application process and being the first successfully funded game from this side quest and creature fund.
Yeah.
So big stuff.
I'm happy for him.
So now
it just so happens it's a game I want. So.
Yeah. Not just want, I mean, one of the best demos I've ever played in VR for like non-full games.
I don't download demos, but I have it.
And I would revisit that one anytime. And it's just one song.
I have, because I have nothing else. They've left me a hanging. They left me out to dry.
So now on to the actual showcase itself, some things that we saw at the Upload VR showcase that stuck out to us and we loved.
This one's cool because we had like super duper early access to it when this was like, full disclosure, it was given to us with ask as many questions as you want, think whatever you want.
We even said this last week too, like we talked about it a bit because they had their release date come out last week.
So as announced on the Upload VR showcase, Infinite Inside from Maze Theory released a new MR trailer for their puzzle game. And I'm just telling you, firsthand experience, it's fun. So it was cool to see that's all becoming real, and will probably be even more fun than when we originally played it. So I'm happy for Maze Theory, and they've gone a totally different direction from their last game
of Peaky Blinders.
This
is a puzzle game, but to describe it as a puzzle game is even maybe doing it a disservice because it's a
puzzle
unique.
Game within a puzzle game within your own space. That's the only way I can figure it out.
There's VR, there's MR, you're outside the puzzle, you're inside the puzzle.
Kind of like some in-ground story going on. I don't know. I loved it.
The atmospheric feel in it in VR is very like.
I'm happy that's getting a little promotional push.
Yeah, I was excited to see that on the Upload VR.
For a while,
showcase.
I thought I was starting to question whether anything was ever going to come of it.
Let's put it this way. Oh my, you know what? This is actually a good indicator of time. I think that we got access to it a couple months before our showcase, and in February, and they were on the Ruff Talk VR showcase back in February. So that just shows you how long this one's been cooking in the oven, how long this one's been marinating.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it was good a year ago.
July. It's coming out. What did it say? July 12th.
It says July 12th. Yeah,
that's huge. That's right around the corner.
So jump on that one, folks. If you like puzzle games, this one's they bring some originality to the.
And like I said, we talked about it last week, where that was when they announced their release date last week. But it's not written on the note today, but it's coming to Quest, Steam VR, Pico, and PSVR.
No, they're hitting the full roster.
Yeah, huge props to them. So I can't wait for this one. And then this next piece of news, this was really cool to see because it was a content creator going into the professional side of VR, which I always love to see. I think that that's the natural
progression.
If you choose to. Not everybody's interested in that.
No. Some people like the space they're in, but others can use it to catapult to the next level.
As somebody that wants to get into the VR industry, I love this story.
Yep, I get it.
So this is a cool one. Mike VR Oasis, one of the biggest VR YouTubers, he actually announced that he started a new VR publisher that we talked about a little bit last week, knowing it was related to him, 2080 Games. And the reason that we talked about them is they're the publisher of Miracle Pool.
I was playing it last night.
Such a good game. Yeah, I heard you making the pool comments, pool table size comments while I was playing some Max Mustard myself, and you were doing some Miracle Pool.
Yeah, I played on the bar table, which is the short table, and I'm like, I like the full size. I like the legit regulation size pool table. So I switched back to that after playing a quick game. So I did like 3 or 4 games.
And then they also have another game coming out under 2080 Games label called Memoriam. Mm-hmm. It's a VR space sci-fi horror first-person shooter. So that one was also shown off at the Upload VR showcase. That one sounds interesting. 2 vastly different games.
Right. Dude, I love when studios do that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see what else we see come from 2080 Games, and overall, just congrats to VR Mike Oasis on going from content creation to this side of things. Dude, we saw him at the Ghost of Tabor event, and he didn't say a peep about any of this. You know how hard it must have been to be tight-lipped, to be like, dude.
Especially when you're that involved.
And Miracle Pool came out, what, two weeks later? So that means he knew that the game's right near release, the announcement for it's coming. That props to him for keeping
I would have rather
tight-lipped.
have given a congratulations in person, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
So congrats, man. That's awesome. And I'm excited for Memoriam because Miracle Pool, fun, man. Wicked fun.
Yeah. And I love the name 2080 Games. It's not forgettable.
You joked, is that when they stopped making games? I think it was?
That's the year we retire, bro. Which you never know.
Right? I love it.
It's all right. So this is actually a good one. Arcade Paradise is coming to Steam VR and PSVR 2 in August. So next month.
Yeah.
That was also announced on, I'll give credit, on the Upload VR showcase.
And that's one that is out now on the Quest. And it's fun. It's a good time. It existed in flat screen. It's cool to see it come to VR.
They did it like a nice transition.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was out on flat screen, people got to play it. Those who owned it on flat screen, we know a handful that have bought it in VR. I mean, it's a fun game.
Wired Productions, they're a flat screen publisher, but they're very into VR as well. We've seen them.
They're into work.
We've seen them. Well, yeah, we've seen them with The Last Worker.
I love their logo.
Yeah, the razor blade. You always got a little innuendo out of that because it's called Wired.
The only way it could get better is if the eye was a straw. You get what I'm saying?
But besides Arcade Paradise, there's another one on the list that's going to come up later of Dig VR, which they're the publisher of as well, too. And we actually have an interview.
I can't wait, dude.
We have an interview with Ben Hinchliffe, the game designer of Dig VR from Just Add Water. That's the developer published by...
Great studio name.
By Wired Productions. Yeah, great studio name and great publisher name.
Yeah.
Just Add Water and then Wired Productions. So, yeah, they like to make you work. So I'm excited to talk about that one a little bit later. But Arcade Paradise coming to
Art
PC.
designed by Freebase Nation.
Arcade Paradise coming to some more platforms, PC VR and PSVR. That was it. That's huge.
Yeah, that's really good.
So that was cool. And then I'm so pumped for this one. Escaping Wonderland. Made by Cortopia Studios. That's the developer. And published by one of our favorite publishers in VR. I never like to say my favorite, but they're working their way up pretty good. Beyond Frames Entertainment. You know,
publishers, I think they're my favorite.
Top tier. You see the name Beyond Frames Entertainment, Fast Travel, Resolution Games. I'm going to play their games.
Dude, no question.
Vertigo Games.
Shell Games.
I see those as labels. I'm going into
I'd say Mighty Coconut, but they stay in their
Walkabout Mini Golf. Yeah.
So that's its own category.
And nor do they ever need to leave it. I'm not complaining either. That's the rightful.
And they know it. It's not like they need to come out with a 3v versus 3, you know? It's like they own the market of
They'll just add more game modes like they did the other week. But Escaping Wonderland from Cortopia Studios, who, by the way, is the studio behind Wands and Wands Alliance, which we loved Wands Alliance.
Yeah, we got a little carried away with it.
Yeah, 3v3 wizard game. I think it
was good.
A little buried by some other releases and stuff like that.
Down the road, I think it did.
Yeah.
At release, I think it was clean, but then like shortly after.
But it's a way better game than the amount of active players or the amount of attention it got deserved. I really loved it. It was one of my favorite releases that year. So they announced Escaping Wonderland at the Upload VR showcase, which looks like it's based off of their other game, Down the Rabbit Hole. But Mava, who we know Mava.
Yes.
She's their head of marketing.
The rock star herself.
She described it, this is the quote of, not a sequel so much as an all-new adventure in Wonderland. So it's called Escaping Wonderland. You know there's going to be that Alice in Wonderland vibe to it, right? I mean, down the rabbit hole.
If I were to speculate based on words and anything I can scrap up, then yes.
And it is coming this year in 2024. And in fact, if you go on the MetaQuest store page, you can pre-order it now. It's normally $19.99, but if you pre-order it now, you can get it for 10% off to $17.99. So I'm excited for this one.
I have a feeling that price point is going to be one of those ones where you feel like you got the better end of the deal.
I think we're going to start to see $14.99 and $19.99 become the sweet spots for a lot of games.
$14.99, dude. We've said it for 3 years. It's like it's a price point that you would almost throw it away to some degree. Like you don't feel bad, especially if it didn't work out in your favor. Like it's not something you ended up loving. Yeah, it was only $15 or it was only $20. Something about like 25, 30, 40, you better be damn sure it's like going to back it up.
And there's games that justify that 25, 30 label. You look at
Dude, all
games
day, every day.
like Ghost of Tabor, All Day, After the Fall. Great games. They justify it.
Oh, I'll never knock someone's, well, we have knocked someone's price point before, but I won't go out of my way to.
But for a game like Escaping Wonderland, that kind of top down.
I have a feeling it's going to be hours of content.
Yeah, $19.99, that's the sweet spot for it.
Steal?
Yes, that range. So $17.99 to get it for that price that's a home run. That's money. I highly recommend it. I'm excited for this one. I love this style of top-down gaming in VR, and I'm so excited to play this one when it drops. So huge props to Beyond Frames for that one.
Well, I'm with you. If it's got Beyond Frames on it, it's like I trust their integrity with.
And I've been
what they touch.
wondering what Cortopia has been up to since
Right now,
since Juan's Alliance. Now we know. So,
no, that's a wicked good one. All right, this is a cool one. Coming 7/25, which is only a short few weeks away, comes Walkabout Mini Golf, Wallace and Gromit. They showed an exclusive first look on the Upload VR showcase, but I don't believe they showed a lot. But
more
understood-
like
it just the fact that it's Wallace and Gromit.
I don't think they want to spoil the holes.
No, they're not.
It's like showing puzzles for I
They
Expect
are
You to
so
Die.
good at what exactly. So it's like, but we saw Wallace and Gromit, right? So we know it is coming, and we know it's going to be damn good.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Dude, they're pumping out courses like nobody's been. I'm imagining at this point now it's like they're backlogged. Like they've got so many ready to go. They're just done.
Well, have you noticed their IP courses that they announce much farther out?
Yeah.
Like they announced this one a year ago or something? Months ago.
I get it though.
And they give it time to hype. People get
When
excited
they do it
about
when
it.
it's their own, I think it's more of
A shadow, not a shadow drop,
quieter
but like
drop versus,
they'll announce it a month away, a couple weeks away, something like that. Whereas these IPs, they'll announce them pretty far out because they announced some other upcoming ones that are coming pretty far out, like Elvis course, which I'm so hyped for.
Yeah, for some reason I thought we were going to get Elvis before Wallace, but
It makes sense for Wallace to come first.
I'm
'cause
excited for Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, that one's going to be really good. So huge props to Mighty Coconut and Walkabout Mini Golf. They always have something to show off. I would have been disappointed if they weren't at the Upload VR showcase just because I always want to see something Walkabout Mini Golf. I know you guys are working on something.
I mean, if there were 12, there was a showcase a month. Walkabout could be on 12 showcases. That's just the reality, dude. They have that ability.
Between upcoming stuff and also just behind the scenes deep dives. You remember for the Ruff Talk VR showcase, we got a little deep dive from Don Carson. I love that stuff.
Don's no joke, dude.
No, Don's a beast.
I want him to get Michelle back.
Michelle
Really
and
bad.
Don are two good ones. I also want to get David from Walkabout Mini Golf on sometime. He'd be a gem. I don't know why we've never reached out for him. That just hit me.
Why? Making me feel bad.
Yeah, well, now we'll talk. So nonetheless, that's huge
I
stuff.
want to get the ball hider back.
Edward.
Damn you, man.
He's gotten harder recently with the last couple of drops. it feels.
Sometimes I'll feel like, this is going to be an easy one. And then I'm like just perplexed that he's a madman. I love the guy, though. He's cool.
Huge props
Good
to
energy.
Walkabout Mini Golf and Mighty Coconut for continuing to give us what we love.
Wallace and Gromit.
And then this one was cool. Holotanks. It's a game in beta right now by developers Foretell Games. It's a room scale mixed reality tank game. It's out now on App Lab. And check this. It's single player, but it's also available in multiplayer for both PvP and co-op. And it's out now, like I said, on App Lab for $11.99.
It reminded me of the tank game in Atari 2600.
There's probably some
But
inspiration
with
from
a
that.
modern day twist on it and in your room. So, I mean, I'm down to play it.
And to
It looked
give
cute.
credit again, this was something that was shown on the Upload VR showcase. I actually believe they were a sponsor of the showcase even.
I think they were.
And this one looked really cool. I love mixed reality multiplayer games. After Miracle Pool, like that concept of these things happening in each of your rooms at the same time, and you guys each have different room setups and everything, but it appearing the same in both and just working.
It doesn't screw it up for the other player while they're shooting and stuff. Yeah.
I love that stuff. So I got to try this one, especially with it having co-op. I mean, you were playing Miracle Pool against the AI last night being like, dude, I'm spinning it as the AI
I kept trying
shooting.
to like can
mess
I
with
screw
it.
it up? Yeah, trying to
Nope.
break it, but no, I didn't.
I feel like that
Worked
has to be
well.
challenging from a development standpoint. So I'm itching to try this one out. And since it's out now, hopefully, next week we'll be talking about it more. I've been swamped in stuff I want to play. I just haven't had the time. It's bothering me. Like Blade and Sorcery 1.0 on PC VR. I've been trying to try that for like 2 or 3 weeks now. Every week something comes up. I can't.
I finally got my my new computer table in.
Nice.
So now I can reset the beast up because
Nice.
I've had it broken down since we left for Sweden.
Well, not broken down. Somebody might get the wrong visual.
Oh no,
that.
it's not broken. I shut it off, unplugged it, and moved it
Because
to
you
where
have-
I can't play.
We talked about this last week. If you're
Yeah.
curious why, you go
Yeah.
check out last week's episode of what's going on in your
You'll
house.
figure out why. But I got the table, so now I just got to plug it back in because I really want to hop back into Grim,
Mhm.
the Grim sequel, Grim. No, I want to go back into Grim. The work that's been done on it in a matter of weeks is pretty friggin' incredible.
Yeah, we have some stuff on the back end on our end that's taking up a lot of our content creation time. It's VR related.
Well, yeah,
it's
but
like-
I haven't even had the ability
Mhm.
to turn the computer on.
It's
So
rough.
It's not even an
The
option.
struggles. The struggles.
But now I built the table. It looks awesome. It's
Also-
actually a great little table.
I'll say one thing before you take your note. I mean, you're going to hear this at the ad break again, too, but huge props to our sponsor for this month, Shell Games with Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire.
Spooky.
See us rocking the shirts and everything like that. So go check that out. Use our exclusive discount code. You can find the link for that in the code in our show notes. But nonetheless, take it away with the next one.
All right, man. So again, shown on Upload VR Showcase. I believe they were on our showcase as well. But Hide the Corpse
Mhm.
is now in full early access.
And I love the Weekend at Bernie's vibe in this one.
Yeah, I mean, for players, I think it's going to be a love-hate. It's either I love it or I hate it.
It's either going to be something that makes
I-
you laugh, like a
I
whole
loved
bunch.
it on just comedic value alone, and some of the, like you said, the Weekend at Bernie vibes. So no, I'm personally one that's happy about it. So I'm happy to see this is moving forward. That was my only fear, is like when we had seen it originally on our showcase, I was like, oh man, I hope this is like a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just a funny one and done. So it's cool that they're going to push forward with it. So,
Yeah, I love the
Hide the
ragdoll
corpse.
physics
Ah,
of the
dude.
body when it's picked up and it's just dangling in the air.
Yeah. I mean, you got to hide a corpse before the cops come in.
It's this. I mean, the title of
gotta
the game
stash it.
explains the game.
But the creativity you can use and stuff in a body somewhere, it's too funny.
The aesthetic of
I'm
it,
happy
too.
for them.
The graphical choice I went with, the music, the art
Dude,
direction. It's
great.
It's great. So I love when developers have a vastly different game than their last game.
Yeah.
This was the Just Hoops developer.
Yeah.
A hand tracking basketball arcade game where like the old school basketball arcade
Mm-hmm.
ones. It was like that with hand tracking, and now he goes to Hide
was
the
good,
Corpse. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Hide the corpse. I'm very excited for him.
So, dude, I'm so pumped for this one. This next one comes from Atlas 5. They showed off at the Upload VR showcase Mobile Suit Gundam Silver Phantoms mixed reality mode, which Atlas 5, I know them originally from Madrid Noir, and they've since come out with so many good visual narrative experiences like Wallace and Gromit, which also did have mixed reality in it, but they confirmed that their mixed reality support is going to have mini mixed reality battles in it, which just sounds so cool to have these mini Gundams fighting in your living
In
room.
your play space? Yeah.
Dude, let's go. So I'm hyped for Mobile Suit Gundam Silver Phantom. It's releasing fall
It
2024.
almost sounds cute, even though it's not meant to be cute, you know?
Gundam is so mech games. I mean, hey, it's the year of mech. There's so many mech games coming out or have come out, with the best, in my opinion, being Underdogs. And World of Mechs is really good too.
Brata.
But Gundam as an IP is made for VR.
Yeah. No, dude. I think years ago you had mentioned it as well.
It's just like the perfect IP for, because you are the person
If
in
you
the cockpit. Like, it just makes sense.
There was one mech game we played. I can't remember which one it was. But man, you felt like you were in a mech.
I think it was World of Mechs.
I'm thinking it was too.
Because they had the setting
They're
that
the one
I
that
turned
had-
off.
yeah,
that you kept
the
on.
shake.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep it on. So when you
Mhm.
walk, the whole cage shakes. But man, oh man, I felt like I was in a mech. So no, I can't wait to play that because I like the idea of it being in your play space.
Ooh, we're making good progress because I only got 3 more before an ad break.
OMG.
We're trying to ramble a little less on this. I got a family dinner to go to
Putting a squeeze on the
on the time.
production time.
So we'll do our best not ramble.
We're trying
but
to stay on point this
trying to. Last week we rambled a bit, but you know what? The unfortunate part is I think people like that rambling.
week. Well,
So,
when
we
we're
do our best,
full-time,
people.
we'll ramble all day.
But at least last week we only had one episode to put out.
Mhm.
This week we have 2 episodes. So
Which
at
is
least,
good.
At least there's that. All right.
Fina going to put out more than one episode, Ruff Talk. So this is a good one from Sponge Games. Love the name. I'm just a sucker for these freaking studio names.
Is it Sponge Games? Spoonge Games?
Spoonge. I'm going to say
Spooge Games.
It's not Spooge. I'm going to go Spoonge. Because it's not Sponge, right?
Spongy.
Oh, I like Spongy.
Is it Spongy
Okay.
Games? It's should we spell it?
Spongy.
SPUNGE.
Spoonge. Spoonge Games. There. So anyways, dead second coming to the official MetaQuest store. Yay! Launched on App Lab in 2021, but additional content coming in 3 to 6 months with new levels and improved AI. Price tag? Magic number, $14.99.
I'm telling you, I think that $14.99 and $19.99.
$14.99 is better than the 90%.
Yeah. 90% worked really well. There was only one game that did it.
I feel
But-
I actually feel bad at some of the backlash he's taking. But
Well, you know why I feel bad about the backlash about it? Because, well, one, he was the first. The studio of Toast Interactive. But when we say he, we're referring to Richie because Richie has this synonymous thing with the studio because it's called Richie's Plank Experience, their first game. So sometimes we refer to Toast Interactive as Richie.
Yeah.
Just because of the name.
is.
But there's a lot of people at Toast Interactive too. It's not just Richie. They all deserve credit.
it's Richie.
But they took the unique marketing strategy of
Unique.
putting a 90% discount code in Richie's Plank Experience, but the 90% discount code was for their next game, Max Mustard.
Leave it to Shoes.
And then
find it.
Shoes, Ruff Talk VR, longtime listener and moderator, and you also know him for running the awesome giveaways in the Discord.
Yeah.
He decided to stick his head through the elevator and find the discount code, and then he posted
the
on
TV.
social media, and it went ablaze. But here's the thing. Prior to Shoes posting it, they never advertised their
it was
discount.
there. No,
that
it
wasn't
was
there.
just
I don't
meant
think
to
that
be
was their
found.
intention. So that's different than the developer coming out now after 10 games have done it and posting everywhere all over their social medias. I mean, yes, they did post that they were excited about hitting #1 on the store, but they never actually posted the code themselves on their social media.
No. It was a found and posted.
So I do think that's an important distinction. And he did go on Between Realities and put out caution, don't do this, don't do this.
From day one, he's advised, this is not something I would recommend anybody do, but there's been a handful that have...
Not a handful, it's probably 10 to 15 that have done it
jumped on
now.
it. It's just not a... It's weird because I get it into one degree, especially if, you're like a starving artist and it's like, dude, you don't understand 100 sales and I can buy groceries this week, but it can actually put a hurt on some of the other games and the value of their own product.
Mhm.
So I get both sides. It's just funny when a really great intention goes terribly wrong.
Especially because they never
No,
marketed
I
it
get
on social media
It wasn't
or
on there.
anything like that.
It
but
would have been cooler if it was found, but it was only good for 5 codes.
yeah.
So that was, but that
And they were
sounded-
also the first to do it.
but there's nothing stopping from any developer for saying, hey, my game's 99 cents. What do you think of that?
I see games doing it. I saw one developer that did it and their game went down to 30 cents. It's
Damn.
where's the
Well.
profit margin? Magic takes 30%.
It's not.
It's craziness.
Yeah.
So I would
It got
say,
a little wild there for a week.
look, I don't work right
Still
now
going,
professionally
actually.
in the industry or anything like that, but I would say for developers thinking about it, don't do it. Just don't. Let's move on. It worked for one person. Just because
No,
one
man.
person does something, somebody comes out with a new style game that hasn't been done in VR yet, and it works. Don't go start developing the clone
But
of it.
that's how it is.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
just-
care. I don't care
I
what
know.
you say or want or wish. That's how it'll always be. You mark down your game. I'm going to mark down mine. You have a value meal worth $5. Your competitor has a
I know.
value meal worth
I know.
$5. It's just the nature of the. I think the intentions were always good from this. I think they were excited to not just Toast Interactive, but anybody else who did the discounts. I don't think they tried to do it to harm
no.
anybody else. It was their in that moment excitement.
Mm-hmm. Let's hop on the train.
Yeah, like I don't want to miss out.
But I do feel like it moved the clock of similar to flat screen competitiveness forward a bit.
Yeah, and we were talking
off air
like last week, and I'm like, well, it kind of go in that direction anyways, and
this moved it forward a couple.
You can only kumbaya it so long, and although it's still one of the, or if not the friendliest space I've ever seen in the technology world, the walls are getting a little.
You know how they have that nuclear clock where like every time there's a world event, they're like, it moved 1 minute closer and all that.
We're at 11:59.
So, if we had a similar, where is VR from getting to the flat screen industry in terms of competitiveness?
1 minute away.
The clock moved a little bit after that one, it seems, but I don't even remember who went last. I think I did, right?
What was the last one you did?
The last one I did was Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yep, you did.
Okay, so you take it away, sir. This was a good one, too. Your next one.
Yeah, man. They were actually the main sponsor for the Upload VR showcase.
Which is unexpected because usually you see like a big studio or a publisher, not a one game. And I think that this might even be an indie developer. But sorry, take it away.
Yeah, no, I would say definitely an indie developer. Well,
like a solo
I'll say
developer.
Used to be indie developer, but
yeah, he's crushing it now.
Broke that ceiling, a long time ago. But Smash Drums, they were the main sponsor for the event. They got new environments coming on Quest 3. Lights that'll sync up with the song in VR and mixed reality. Available solo, 8-person rock show mode.
Yeah, solo or the 8-person rock.
Dude, that's crazy.
I definitely got to go check that out. So lights that correspond with the audio.
8-person was a typo.
No. I got to go check that out.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
I won't lie. I love Smash Drums.
Yeah.
I've loved it since, again, one that I had a demo of.
Mm-hmm.
Only because at the time that I got it, there was so few, I was searching for drum games, and it's like, they just didn't exist. Sorry, you're not getting it. So it was, I think, Paradiddle demo, Smash Drums demo, and then I bought Smash Drums.
Then there's Ragnarok.
Yeah, but Ragnarok came out after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Or I think I would have jumped on it.
And that's kind of a different style, too. Than the regular
you're a Viking
drumming.
on a ship.
Cool stuff. Smash Drums
versus, a rock band kit.
Now there's Drums Rock as well, too.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm biased to the subject. I love, guitar, drums. I'm still waiting for a legit rock band to come in and blow our socks off. Dude, if it's a music related, I probably own it. No lie.
Yeah.
It's like not even funny.
So that was wicked cool to see them as the premier sponsor for the showcase as well. I hope that means they're crushing it.
I was shocked, but not in like a bad way. I was just like, wow, that's
shocked
a
in like a proud
move.
way.
Yeah. I was like, damn, how far they've come.
So check out this one though. The developers of Pixel Ripped are Vor. We talked to Anna Ribeiro from it, the creator of it.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, there's actually I think it was Gamescom Latin America this past week.
You can always catch her walking around in costume.
Correct.
Yeah.
She was at AWE with it as well too. In her cosplay of Dot.
She'll share her costume, but don't do that.
No. She's cool people for sure. So 100%. The developers of Pixel Ripped, Arvor, they announced showed off their new game because they did announce it previously, called Clawball. Which you go, Clawball?
Sounds like you have a speech problem.
Sounds animal related, right? Clawball?
Dude, I was running through the woods and I got that clawball.
But it's a 3v3.
You won't let go.
It's a 3v3 soccer game that you play as a cat.
Yeah, man.
These silly concepts are perfect for VR.
And you've said that for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. The wacky, wild side of gaming works even better. Giant lobster hands in local
You can do
dojo.
in VR what you'd never get away with in flat screen.
And it's just funnier seeing it in front of you in three dimension. But it's hitting App Lab this year.
It actually looked fun, though.
Mm-hmm. And the full launch is coming next year in 2025. This was also shown off at the Upload VR showcase. Yeah, 3v3 cat soccer. Come on, dude. That's pretty freaking sweet.
Oh, man. This is a good one. So I'll start with this was shown on the Upload Showcase VR as it's 90% of the stuff we're talking about. But like you said, it was the stuff that really stood out to us. A couple honorable mentions too. But by Grid Alone, a VR horror shooter. And when I was watching it, I was thinking of you, and I'm like, nope, Damien's not going to play this with me.
Oh, we were doing a little bit of a live hang out in the Discord. There was a couple of us that were there, and you should have heard me during it. I was like, nope.
Yeah, I already knew. I was watching on my TV and on the cell phone. But yeah, By Grid Alone, VR horror shooter by developers Crooks Peak, releasing September, right before Halloween too.
Perfect timing.
$18.99 for the full price, or pre-order now for $16.99. Which I'm not gonna. I want to play it. It looked good to me. It didn't look like it's not doable. It didn't look like
too over the top.
Flock of the Low Gods scary. But I instantly was telling Tracy, I'm like, yeah, no, Damien, I can already tell Damien's going to be like, I don't want to play this one. I'm sure we will if we can party chat, though.
But no, that one, it sucks that I'm such a wuss with these games because some of them look good, but I just know I can't do it.
Oh, no, dude, but you should because you're especially to like record it. It's perfect.
I'll do it in party chat.
You're the perfect candidate to.
I'll do it
to record scary games
when my girlfriend's home too. Like, remember I was trying to play Flock of the Low God alone, and you were like trying to be like, dude, no, it's not that bad, and you knew it was bad.
Oh, dude, it was
and you
awesome.
knew it was gonna get worse still.
I felt a little bad because I knew you were alone, and there's like
it's worse alone.
Yeah, dude.
Even you commented on that after because you did play it alone, and you're like, nah, dude, it is a little messed up alone.
Oh shit. Yeah, so I'm kind of happy to try this one.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah. As a guy that's not someone that can actually handle horror games, it looks good. So if I was a horror game guy, I would be all over this without a doubt.
It's probably the scariest shit ever.
And
I just don't know it.
I referenced earlier that I love when developers take a whole different route. Like I referenced that with Realcast, the developer of Hide the Corpse, whose last game was Just Hoops. Ember Souls was shown off at the Upload VR showcase. And this is made by Virtual Age, which is the developers of Guardians Frontline, a game we loved.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Crushed it on App Lab, then got picked up by Fast Travel's publishing wing, the almighty...
Big surprise.
Get to the main store fast publishing wing. Got them to the main store, of course.
Get it there fast?
With some
Fast
updates.
Travel.
I actually think it was originally called Guardians, and then the relaunch with Fast Travel added Frontline to the name. But they're the developers of that, which is like a VR first-person shooter strategy, real-time strategy game. Like Halo and StarCraft. There was a whole bunch of genre mixes.
No.
There's a whole bunch of genre melting pot going off, and there was a very unique game, but it was so much fun. And Ember Souls, which they showed off, is totally different. It's a hack and slash narrative adventure game inspired by Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, and you can definitely see the influence in it.
Yeah, I did some of the puzzles and
even just the parkour, the jumping mechanics. It looks really smooth. So I'm so excited for this one. It looks very polished. I don't think they gave a release date or anything like that, but they just announced that it's coming, and I'm pumped for it. Ember Souls from Virtual Age. This one's going to be a must play for me when it comes out.
Pretty much everything I saw in the showcase looked pretty good. Except for a couple.
If we're talking about it in this list, it's because we enjoyed it. Like, we're interested in it, right? That's fair to say?
I'll say 99%.
Yeah, that's actually... Because we're going to laugh when the one that... You'll know, but we'll get to it. We're assholes, man.
No, we're just honest. That's the thing. We might be assholes. If the truth makes me an asshole, then I'll be an asshole. Then
the truth is an asshole.
So, this one I'm so freaking excited for. Brand new gameplay trailer was shown on Upload VR Showcase. Dig VR.
Ooh, boy.
From Just Add Water.
Yep, which we teased that we have an interview with them dropping on Wednesday.
So I won't say too much, but it's so much better after knowing.
Well, you've been itching for it.
I want to say some shit, but I can't say nothing. We'll wait till the interview.
Yeah.
How's that?
I'm excited for this one for sure, though. This was a highlight of the showcase for me, but also for you, too. I didn't even ask you. I already know.
Yeah, dude. When we first heard about it, it was like, this has me written all over it.
You sounded like I Expect You to Die 3 upcoming release again. You're like, when can we get it? And I was like, dude, it's probably not ready yet. You're like, I won't say anything. I won't complain. There can be bugs. There doesn't need to be any artwork. Yeah.
Speaking of,
when can we get it?
Well, no. I want What's the progress report on I Expect You to Die 4?
It's already started.
I can't even get legit vocal confirmation other than like a read between the lines answer, which, of course we know it's coming. But,
we'd love it to go on forever.
but is it coming in 25 or are we getting...
Is it in the works? But in the meantime, go check out...
playable demo?
In the meantime, go check out Silent Slayer with the exclusive Ruff Talk VR discount code. Find that in our
They're
show
smart.
notes.
I know. See what they're doing now? I know exactly what Show Games is doing. Because they know people also want I Expect You to Die. But
And
you
after
gotta
the fall,
give us,
too.
you got to give us some food in between or we'll starve to death. So what do? They let you freaking slay some vampires and make it challenging enough that like you're not going to breeze through it. I'm sorry.
I talked about this last week too. People, as much as you want I Expect You to Die 4, a lot of people want After the Fall too. So they got a lot on their plate, I'm sure. And Silent Slayer, great puzzle game. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out now.
I'll use your term. I'll die on the hill with this one. One of the absolute best games if there's a group setting and you want to stream it to the TV and put your friends in it. And because there's nothing like movement wise that'll make you disoriented or light.
And
nothing
it's great
at all.
party laughs too, watching people lose.
Well, and in reality, if it happens to be an event that might have had some adult beverages, it will make the experience even better because you might think you're moving smooth and slow, but you're not. And a jump scare that is coming, but your brain won't allow you to remember is pretty cool. So it's funny.
So I think this last one's me, and then we go to the ad break.
Yeah, man.
That's the case. Sweet. So I was so excited to see this one shown off at the Upload VR showcase. It was previously announced, but we got a new trailer for it and a release date. It's Underworld Overseer from Myron Games, which is the developers of Deism, one of the first games we ever played on App Lab. Love that game. Was so cool to see the development of it over time. It was like a top-down God Sim management game. And Underworld Overseer is a top-down dungeon management game that looks so much fun. And I've talked to a few people that have gotten the chance to play it, and they all reported back to me the same thing. The unfortunate news that just makes me want to play it even more, that it's freaking awesome is all I've heard about it. So, their new trailer was awesome, and it's coming out October 31st, 2024 on Halloween. So I'm excited.
That's a good release date.
Yeah.
Other than, it squeezes out the little ones because they'll all be trick-or-treating. If people still do that.
I tend to think that top-down strategy games and management games appeal to a little bit more of a mature crowd. That doesn't mean an older crowd, because a young person could be mature and an older person could be immature, right? I just mean it appeals to that mature crowd. So I'm pumped for that one.
There's definitely more older people acting immature than there is young people being mature.
I know Deism was one developer, Tommy. We talked to him. We actually have an interview with him. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out as well. I love Deism.
Deism was great, dude.
I'm pretty sure Deism he did all by himself. I'm wondering if Myron Games is still just Tommy. Let's see. I might have to ask for some.
I hope not.
Well, I feel like some people think Spoon. If Spoon didn't have to work with art, he would work by himself, right?
No. Spoon is
the anomaly.
Yeah, he's in all things and everything. There's always that oddity, that rare 1%, Bigfoot, mermaids, unicorns, Spoon. I mean, I think when we talked to him, I even said that I actually thought I would sooner run into Bigfoot on a hike in the woods than I'd ever get to talk to Spoon. So he's
the anomaly.
He doesn't count. So he's in his own freaking world, man. I would imagine competing with him in something. I just don't think it would end well.
So we'll take our ad. Yeah. By the way, I was just about to take the ad break, but I agree with what you said earlier too. I'm so excited to get back into Grim. Right. I'm fiending. So we'll take a quick ad break, but like always, before that, let's give a big shout out to the members of our Patreon on-air shout out tier. I mean, really, everybody on our Patreon, everybody that partakes in our Discord, I have a huge appreciation for them. We even gave some shout outs to some people not on the on-air shout out tier last week just because they're awesome. We shouted out Inferno and Chadwick, and then I felt so bad because I actually meant to include NV in that, who's one of the European crowd peeps in our Discord, who's just freaking...
So many people you could shout out.
Yeah.
Can say congrats to Tom, though, on his successful move.
Yeah, Tom from formerly Wemo Games. And
I won't state he's living in. He posted it, but I won't.
Yeah, put anybody on the
I
spot
won't
or
dox
anything like
his
that.
state here. Beautiful state he moved to,
Yeah.
though. I've
But-
been there.
Huge thank you to all of our Patreon members, everybody that partakes in our Discord and all of that. Huge thank you to Asim, Amelia, Earth Witness, Carson, Aspire Mike, T Peasy, Jake, Crispy, and Shoes. So thank you all for your continued support month after month. Like I said, also just for, hanging out in the Discord, engaging, all that stuff. If you want to go join the Patreon, just like you can find the link for Silent Slayer, go visit the link in our show notes to find our Patreon, our Discord, all that stuff. Become a supporter of the show. There's a bunch of different ways you can support Patreon, subscribing on your favorite podcast platform, subscribing on YouTube, like, comment, share, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on. All that stuff makes a huge impact in us. So thank you again to all of our Patreon peeps, and we'll be back with you after this message from our sponsors. Need to add a new horror game to your library? Silent Slayer Vault of the Vampire is a new horror game brought to you by Shell Games, the studio behind the award-winning I Expect You to Die franchise and Among Us VR. In Silent Slayer, you are a vampire slayer who has been called to destroy a clan of vampires before they wake up to grab an unstoppable power. But there's a catch. You can't wake them up. Silent Slayer requires precise, controlled movement and puzzle-solving skills in order to silently neutralize these monsters. From putting emblems together to the penultimate staking, Silent Slayer creates a tense environment for the bravest souls. Ready to slay? Silent Slayer Vault of the Vampire is now available on the MetaQuest store. If that's not for you, you can wishlist the game on Steam and join its newsletter for updates. And for listeners of the Ruff Talk VR podcast, we have an exclusive discount code for 10% off by using code RUFFSLAYER-890-4FC. That's RUFFSLAYER-890-4FC. Just visit the link in our show notes and use the code RUFFSLAYER-890-4FC for 10% off Silent Slayer Vault of the Vampire. And we are back. So, kicking it off next is actually you.
It
the
is
next piece of news. So
I do want to shout out King Canuck.
Yeah, Canuck's awesome.
If
He's one of
that's
our mods. We should shout out our mods weekly, right? Shoes, who's on our on-air shout out list. Same with Amelia, and then also King Canuck.
At least people know who the mods are. When
Yeah,
they go
that's a
in
good
there,
point.
Other than fucking up, being like, oh, I found out who's a mod today. No, all the mods deserve huge credit, and I was really laying on it in my head today for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm like, they just do an awesome job.
Yeah,
dude.
they really do.
I'm in a ton of Discords, are you, and not all Discords are the same. And I honestly believe, from the outside looking in, ours is a really comfortable, fun, safe place to be. It's educational, it's fun, it's humorous. Chadwick. All right, back to the news. Dun, dun, dun. Metal Hellsinger VR is coming this fall to Quest, Steam VR, and PSVR 2.
They have
And it is the VR adaptation of the original game as well. Development team is the Outsiders, which is great. And the PC VR demo is actually live right now, as showcased on Upload VR.
That's freaking awesome. And I never played the flat screen version, but it looks like
I believe I did on Xbox, and I wasn't really great at it.
They call it a rhythm shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
almost positive I played it.
And it features for metal fans, like, metal genre music fans.
Oi.
They got some good named, some good name value bands on there as well, too. They had one of the members of Trivium on the trailer itself, too, teasing some other artists that are in the demo, let alone the final, final release.
It was a funny video clip.
Yeah, they did a good job with it. I actually think he was using a Shure SM7B.
Yes, he was.
I remember noticing that. The mic of choice of the Ruff Talk
Michael
VR.
Jackson used the Shure
on the Thriller.
SM7B on Thriller.
You can find the SM7B on all the best podcasts, if you ask me. Some use other ones, like Rode. You have some good ones, but the SM7B is so...
Howard Stern has one of the best microphones for the money, but you're...
For the money.
For under 1,000, SM7B. For over 3,000, Howard Stern's mic. There's really no real weird gray area other than, like, you've grown up with a certain preference of microphone because you've been in radio your whole life or something.
I just always love when you're seeing a clip or something, you see that SM7B. Like, I love it.
It holds up.
Yeah.
I mean, they had me sold at Michael Jackson when we were doing research on microphones. And I'm like, if it can handle the vocal range of Michael Jackson, which is all over the place, it should be able to handle us, right?
Our monotone, deep voices. Absolutely. So huge props to the Outsiders for Hellsingers.
Be funny if he had a podcast, dude. I'll just won't even go there. Okay, keep going.
So huge props to them for that
dark.
one. I think that one's going to be a good release when it drops, so I'm pumped for it. I might even have to check out the demo on
I
PC
believe
VR.
I'll be a lot better at it than I am on flat screen for sure.
I have faith in you too.
I had an issue with it.
So this one was cool. Tier 1 direct action. This one's made by former Onward developers, and it's being considered a spiritual successor to Onward. So it's a first-person shooter game that's going to be coming out Q1 or Q2 2025. It's going to have PvP, PvE, customizable weapons, characters, tools, attachment, destructible environments, the whole 9 yards.
They've left out nothing.
It's the studio that's making it, the one that's made by or founded by former Onward developers, is called Neorun Studios, or Niorun. It's Niorun Studios. Pronounce that however you may. And this was shown off also at the Upload VR showcase, or I actually think it was shown a little bit after. There was a lot that dropped that day, so my mind's a little fuzzy. But Tier 1 direct action. I'm excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks good. And I wasn't big in Onward, to be honest with you. There were other shooters I played more in VR, but
Wasn't bad though.
no, and this one looks even better, I won't lie. So I'm excited for it.
Was it bad, but this one looks better.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean,
But that should be the case though. If something came out last year and your company makes it this year, I'm hoping and praying it's better.
so Tier 1 direct action.
All right, this is a cool one only because we have firsthand experience with it. So we can be as biased as we want with this. But Spatial Ops from Resolution Games is definitely coming to Quest Standalone. This is Quest Standalone, the Quest store this year.
That's huge. And we got to try it in Stockholm, Sweden, at the
At their
Resolution
studio.
Games studio, which is a beautiful studio.
The view from their window is like, they had me at that.
Yeah.
It's like they could have just said, just sit here and look out the window. I'd be
And
like, okay.
We played it, me, you, two of the developers,
Mm-hmm.
and then also Eric, fellow VR podcaster, Eric Masher. So that was cool. Was it one developer? No, we only played with
We only
One
played
with one.
because it was me and you against
One
not
developer.
against, but it was me, you, Eric, and then the developer.
And then they had another one of their developers doing some in-headset filming, and then another one doing some out-of-body filming as
Correct.
well, too. So great setup, and it is one of the most fun VR experiences I've had, honestly. Now,
I'm so jealous that my play space at home. Yeah, because you can still do it in a small play space.
mm-hmm.
But man, if there was ever a time to have like a gymnasium, that's the perfect size in my head.
And it was so much fun. And look, there are boundaries to the game, like obstacles for it becoming mass adopted. It's built for VR arcades, in my opinion, like an existing in-person VR arcade. But, you mentioned to get the best bang, you really need that bigger environment. And then you get other people over with you in the same environment can sometimes be a boundary as well. But if you're able to do those two things, I will say right now, oh my goodness, one of the most fun VR experiences you'll do. It was like VR laser tag on steroids.
What's really messed up is I was looking at the video footage of not in-game footage, but out-of-game video. And I remember in the game, it's like very action-packed. But when you look at people playing it outside the game, it looks so nonchalant. Like you're being so casual with the shooting. But in the game, you're like, your arms are up, you're shooting a shotgun or the rocket launcher. I mean,
I broke a huge sweat playing it.
well, dude, you win. You were going for like gold medals.
I won the free-for-all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was worth
Which
it.
was a question I think they posed on their
Yep.
social
Who won?
media. Who won? I'll tell
The
you right
answer-
now. Who
D
won.
Scruffles, baby.
D Scruffles won that.
Did we win the 2v2 after? No, but we
did not.
we got really sandwiched bad. It wasn't the best situation.
In defense, though, because Eric did great, but it would have been cool. Let's say if Todd was there,
Yeah.
because When a developer is your teammate, I hope you win.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, there was a handicap.
We got unfinished business, Eric, is what we're saying.
Holy shit.
So, fun stuff.
Yeah, no,
Huge
that was really fun.
I'm excited for that one to drop. Huge props to Resolution Games. I still want to see Game Room. That's on the Apple Vision Pro. I want to see that on the Quest. But
I don't know what's up. You think that would be the easiest thing to do, too, if they wanted to.
Right. So this next one is really cool. I'll go quick with it. There's not much to say, but Astro Hunters announced that they're coming Q3 2024. Astro Hunters is made by Winkley Studios, the same studio behind Survival Nation. This was shown at the Upload VR Showcase. And they had a free demo of it during the Steam VR week, but they also, or the Steam Showcase week the other week, but they also put that demo on the Quest. And it was pretty good, you know, the limited I played from it. This one looks like it has potential. Could be a hit or miss depending on how it's executed, but I've enjoyed Winkley Studios' past products. I actually feel terrible. We have a lost episode of Ruff Talk VR of Survival Nation. We did a review of it, and, well, computer melted after, and that episode went poof.
It ate it.
And it sucks because it's a really good game.
We can't redo. We're not scripted, so
No.
you can't redo the...
And there's been changes to
flow.
it now, so
Yep.
we'd have to...
That one hurt a lot, dude.
It's not a game I think I would have enjoyed a bunch solo, but as a co-op experience, I had a good time with it, and I think that's going to be my same takeaway from Astro Hunters. Not one I'll go into too much solo, but co-op, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. It's kind of like a VR, PvP, PvE extraction game, so let's see. But like not like Ghost of Tabor.
Go catch some booty game.
Astro
Hunter.
But not like Ghost of Tabor extraction. It's more like there's more just NPC killing and looting, it seemed. You know, it didn't seem like that going in raid. A little bit of its own unique thing. So let's see. But I'm excited for that one.
Astro Hunter. The name just cracks me up. But I am excited. So this is a fun one. Exploding Kittens VR is coming to Quest this year. That'll be Quest 2 and 3, so it's not a 3 exclusive. Fall of 2024. This is developer Saber Interactive. Remember a question? He said sober. Saber Interactive, fall 2024 for $19.99, or pre-order now for $17.99, 10% off.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
What admittingly is kind of weird too is like they'd almost be better off doing pre-orders at 20% because no matter what, people are going to fiend for the 20% discount code the minute it drops. So if the developers could just do that themselves and save them.
You don't want to get me started on the referral system. I'm not a fan of it. As a consumer sense, I get it. I just think it's too big of a discount.
It is. I mean, they cap your yearly ability to.
Nah.
So even if you cranked it out in the first 3 months, it's like you can't share nothing after that. So, but still, someone's paying for it.
Because of stuff like that. Developer goes to do a nice 10% pre-order discount, and you go, well, why not wait for the referral? And
Wait
it's
for
hard
the
to
20.
say that. Hard to say that you're wrong either.
I know. It sucks.
So I am excited for that one, though. Exploding Kittens, they had a collaboration with Walkabout Mini Golf a year or two ago. So anytime you see studios collaborating with, or like an IP collaborating with Walkabout, I kind of get the feel that they're peeking at VR a little bit.
Walkabout could collaborate with anybody in any. You could do Walkabout Ghost of Tabor.
What's a man got to do for a Ruff Talk VR Lost Ball?
Pay Edward more than he's currently making from Walkabout or Mighty Coconut.
Edward goes, be careful what you wish for.
You'll never find it. Who's to say there isn't one?
Right.
Just will never find it. Because that's real easy for Edward to do. I wonder if Edward's got his own custom balls that only he has.
Oh, no doubt. We got to get, like we said earlier, we got to get him back on.
He's
for
a
sure.
fun dude, man. Just a good vibe. Like Jim Squires. Such an energetic human being, right? Just a fun dude. So hopefully we meet Edward someday.
So you want to take the next one?
Oh, I was waiting for you.
No, I took the last one.
No, shows you how much I'm paying attention.
No, it happened to me a couple times too where I was like, shit.
This is huge news, fresh off the press, folks. This is huge. I'm just being a smart ass. And I say that because everyone knows my love of the app, but it is a good app. It's just not my bread and butter. Rec Room has full body avatars in beta, now available to everyone.
It was available in beta, I think, to like select group or like, you know, the
now they've opened it up to the masses.
And the full body avatars don't look bad.
And little kids have never looked so big.
We have figured out legs in VR. It's happened in our
Dude,
front of our eyes.
Remember the first time ever going in the rec room? Like literally, first time ever. Boom, thrown in a lobby.
First couple days we had a headset.
And it's like all these little munchkins running up to you with the high pitched voices, and I'm like, oh hell no, dude, we got to get the hell out of here.
I do remember though there was one 2-player game that we played in there. It was that Crimson one that there was like a crown. There was like one person has a sword. The other person has a bow and arrow. It was pretty good. We never beat it.
If you dig around, and it's gotten so much better over the years too. I mean, we're picking on the early years.
It's
just
got a
because
cult
of our
following.
experience.
Well, dude, actually, to be fair though, VR, PC, and consoles it's available on, and it started in VR,
and it's a good space for what it is. So I mean, I do tell jokes about it, but there's people who love it.
If I was a little kid, it would be my shit. I can't deny that. And, you know, there's some adults that love it too. There's nothing wrong if you're an adult that does it.
There is some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Just got to weed through the ankle deepness of Timmy's.
So that is cool to see, though. It's cool to see that legs have been figured out. I'm pumped for this one because this one is disembodied. It was shown on the Upload VR showcase, but it's made by Middleman Games, which is the developers of TwistX. And this one is like a top-down VR platformer in mixed reality, and it looks like with hand tracking. So
yeah, I'm real curious about that one.
Middleman Games, they really like mixed reality. They like the hand tracking.
TwistX was good, man.
It was.
I honestly, like, conceptually, I think ahead of its time.
I think if it came out now, it would get more of a fanfare because mixed reality is.
I'd wait a year. I would.
And this one, dude, the trailer for it looks really, really freaking cool, dude. So I'm excited to check it out. I was excited for that one. I don't know a whole bunch about it, release date, price, anything like that. Looked like more of just an announcement trailer that like the game is in the works and going to exist.
It's
but
happening.
I'm excited for it for sure. Definitely one I'm going to check out.
This is kind of good news. This was actually found. I'll give credit to where it was found because it was found by David Bigelow on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I will say too, I do interact with Dave a bit.
Yeah, it wasn't
occasionally.
Wasn't cherry picked. Quest 3 is sold at least, and that's a minimum of 1 million units, and that's according to First Encounters leaderboards.
So the important thing about that, though, the reason why you say at least so emphasiously, you know, with such emphasis, is because you don't have to play First Encounters when you get the headset. I played it. You know, First Encounters is that mixed reality app that they have with the things popping out of your walls and you shoot.
I wasn't going to do it.
I think I talked you into it.
You did. So I would have been one of the people outside the 1 million. But now I'm just part of a mill. I'm not part of that small percent. But it's cool to know at least minimally 1 million.
And I'm sure Meta has obviously they have the data of how many headsets are sold. But I was going to say, I wonder what the data is of like this, in this users, X out of X users did First Encounters. If they ever told us that, then we would be able to figure out how many quests, 1 in 30. All right, so 30 million headsets have been sold, which isn't the case by any means. But it's cool to know at least 1 mil. At least. And it's probably like 50% of users go into it and don't. Probably also depends if it's your first headset. You're probably more likely to go into First Encounters.
I was wondering if you buy another headset, if you buy 2 Quest 3s and they're linked to the same account, does it count as 2 headsets or does it count as only 1?
Well, if you didn't do the leaderboard in it again with a different account, that would only be 1.
Then what if you did it twice? Does that count as twice?
Only if it's separate accounts.
It is still 2 different headsets.
Only if it's separate accounts, yeah. Because it's tied to your account, right? So that would still just be 1 account.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gathering that. But regardless, minimally 1 million is damn good.
Cool stuff. And then I love this one because I love the developers. My Dearest, they announced that Brazen Blaze, they announced their release date. It's going to be coming to Quest and Steam on July 18th. So right around the corner. It's $15, but available on pre-order for 13% off. And if you pre-order, you get an exclusive
13%
exclusive bonus skin in it because the game has different characters and, things to unlock like skins and stuff like that. So nice little pre-order bonus besides the discount itself. And this, again, was shown off at the Upload VR showcase. We talked to Alberto Moreno from My Dearest about Brazen Blaze long ago, months ago. And he had us hyped. the world destructive aspects of it, battling and destroying the city to take each other out. It sounded really cool. So I'm excited for the full release.
That's one I have on my watch list for sure.
It's been in beta for a bit, so much so that you went, isn't this already out?
Yeah.
It's like they've done a good job getting access to it, spreading the word about it, but the full release is coming July 18th.
It's funny because I did ask that. Like, I thought this has been out for a while now, dude. What are you doing? This isn't news. This is actually good news for Horizon World folks, or those soon to be Horizon World folks, but they are rolling out to all countries where quests are now sold.
Ooh,
so
baby.
if you were out of the Horizon World's world, now you can take part in it. It's going to be neat to see how it's interpreted from other places that have never had it. So
yeah, I mean,
no longer have to miss out on the fun.
It's gotten some hate over the years, mainly due to that Eiffel Tower picture.
That was
and
the
stuff.
dumbest
I know, we
shit
talked about
ever,
that last
dude.
week too.
That
and
is like, grow the fuck up.
And
I'm so over that, dude. Like,
there are some good worlds in Horizon World as well. Just like you were saying with Rec Room, you can go into some and there's going to be a lot of little kids, but they have stand-up comedy worlds, but they also have good games like Citadel was a lot of fun.
Dude, the last time I went in Horizon a couple months ago, there was some cool shit.
And then there was also Super Rumble, which is a battle royale game, which you can actually play from your phone as well against people in VR, which is cool. So Horizon Worlds has come a long way, and I think that these countries that are just getting access to it now, because they're getting it in this state of things, they're going to be kind of surprised by how, like, it's not as bad as they heard, graphically and just the library of stuff.
Anytime I hear that Eiffel Tower thing, I just get fucking angry.
So this next one, it's funny. What we've been doing recently is laying out all the news on flashcards and then splitting them up. Who wants to take each one, right?
We're creating the story of the news.
And I took this one because I don't know if you would have been able to make it through without laughing. And that's not because we're mean people
Definitely
or anything.
Not. No, definitely not.
Yeah, I think you might have even said you can take that one.
You can throw that one away.
So it was announced that there's new levels for What the Bat added. This was announced at the Upload VR showcase. So if you have Upload VR, you can check out some new content for it. And Upload VR, What the Bat really wasn't a bad game by any means. It was a game.
Just secured themselves Game of the Year for 2024 by that.
Ah, there it is. It was a game where your arms are bats, but yeah, they somehow won Upload VR's Game of the Year that year.
With some games that came out unjustifiably.
Yeah.
I would love to have that conversation someday with somebody from the inside. And we have nothing but
I love Upload
mad
VR.
love for Upload VR.
I love Upload VR.
But
my go-to media source for VR.
But there's just no way.
I know.
There's no way on God's green earth, dude. What the Bat was fun. We played it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. It's still a head scratcher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if you were to put anybody in that game, and it sucks because it's almost like an attack on the dev team, and I apologize because it's not. But if you put someone in that game and played like the other top 10 games from that year, and then said, which one's the best? What the Bat? Really?
Mm-hmm. I know.
But
it's tough.
But
and I actually feel like it's done them some more harm than good at this point now, because it wasn't a game that we hated or anything, but now we see news on it and we laugh, and that's not right, but
I'll laugh.
It is what it is, right?
Bring up What the Bat tomorrow and I'm going to laugh. So I have no shame in it, but we did have fun playing it. Yeah. I laughed while playing it.
It's just not Game of the Year.
I actually, when finished with the game, was kind of like, I wish there was more content to this. So I'm glad.
2 years later.
I'll take it. The fact that someone's paying it the lip service and the mind to like give it some content, I'll definitely go play it because I did have an enjoyable time playing it.
Yeah, it's not a bad game by any means, despite our jokes or anything.
No, so I wasn't kidding. This will be my final piece of the day, I guess. But Apple Vision Pro, we don't have it, but it will be launching soon in China, Japan, and Singapore.
I think I stole one of your news pieces, so you can take that one after.
You didn't.
I somehow ended up with 3 left if you're at your last.
It's all good. Don't know. I honestly don't know how that would have happened. But no, that's actually huge news for Apple Vision Pro. I think it'll help.
They beat Meta to China.
Help with I mean, Apple releasing in China is what, like, driving it down the street. That's how I interpret that. Like, hey, go from factory 212 to Shop 3.
But
It's
that is
like
a big market to be in. And the word is that the demo bookings of it at the Apple stores in China are sold out. Like it's hard to find.
When China has, like them or love them, they have a shit ton of millionaires and a shit ton of billionaires.
And
so
if something comes on as like a cultural like icon thing, like it's a status symbol over
everyone will have one.
Yes. And I have a feeling that's kind of what's happening. Bradley Lynch was commenting that his wife opened up, I forget the name of the social media. It was some Chinese social media on the day it came out. And the home screen of it, the first screen of the social media was advertising the Apple Vision Pro.
No, it's a brilliant move by Apple. I'm glad they were able to do it so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But more so, and this is coming from someone who, I have no dog in the hunt. I haven't tried the Apple Vision Pro, but the fact that many more people are going to have access to it, not just in China, but Japan and Singapore.
Which Meta is in China, Japan and Singapore, just not China.
But they're not. I don't look at Apple Vision Pro as a competition to Meta and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's just good that just this many more people within the world have access to it.
You actually said it the other week, and I agreed with it right away, and I still agree with it. I think that there's like potential for the Apple Vision Pro to outsell its US sales in China.
Yeah.
Like I think it's going to the Chinese.
Why wouldn't it?
I think the Chinese sales of the Vision Pro are going to
By sheer population alone, the numbers
destroy
work
the US sales.
So that's why to me it's,
again,
like it or love it, it's a valuable market that
if it becomes a social cultural symbol, a status icon, that thing's going to sell. So I'll get off the showcase for a second since, you're talking Vision Pro. Now I'll come back with the Quest 2. Quest 2, man, is now out of stock in U.S. marketplaces like the Meta Store and Walmart and Amazon and stuff like that. You can get the Quest 2 on Amazon through third-party retailers, but not through the official Amazon listing.
It's going to be a while.
So, we were joking it when they kept dropping their price. They're just clearing out stock. They're clearing out inventory, and it looks like that's what they did. Looks like they sold out the rest of the Quest 2s that they had.
Real quick, too.
And I think they also found out that, yes, the cheaper you sell the headset, the more people buy it. And that's an important, it sounds so obvious, but that's an important thing to have leading into this Quest S release.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm hyped for it, man. Because no doubt the MetaQuest 3S, as it's rumored to be called, is going to replace the Quest 2. And if it's going to have the same processing power as the Quest 3, it's just not going to have color pass-through or pancake lenses is the rumor. I'm sorry, it is going to have color pass-through. It's just not going to have pancake lenses.
That's a fair trade-off.
So if it can run the exclusives like Batman VR and stuff like that, and it's $300, $350,
it's damn good.
Baby, good times are coming. So that was cool to see. Quest 2 is officially out of stock. And then Project Avalanche, the long-rumored PC VR cloud streaming service from Meta. At first, it was rumored like 2 years ago. It's supposedly going to allow you to play PC VR titles directly from your headset, no computer required, anything like that. There's been a couple times throughout the years where people boot up their headset and it's in their settings.
It's there.
It happened to somebody else again last week. I think he's some French media outlet guy. GamerGen. He recorded videos and took pictures and stuff. It was in his experimental settings, and he tried to go into Lone Echo VR through it, but couldn't really connect, but then was able to get into Asgard Giraffe 1 for a little, which Asgard Giraffe 1 was with the one at the center of the last leak about this as well, too. So it sounds like, if I had to guess based off of the leaks that have come out, I don't know if it'll be a service that gives you access to like any title you want or just Meta's like first-hand PC VR titles, but either way, I've been itching for this one. I'm excited. I remember when we talked to Amanda Watson some months ago, I asked if like is it possible in her eyes, and she was like, yeah, like no reason why not.
She would know too.
Yeah, she's the person to ask if it's possible.
She would be the one I'd want to ask.
Which if I was Meta, I'd be like, do we got to go throw some offers back at Amanda Watson to get this cloud streaming?
I don't know if it'll stick.
But that was cool to see. And then last piece of news, just to go quick, Lovesick, which is, it's described as you help save a band stuck in an alternate reality. It's a VR narrative game with puzzles and such.
Punk band.
It's a punk band. It's set in the 90s. It looks pretty cool. It was shown off at the Upload VR showcase. It's made by developers Rose City Games, and this was just a first look trailer, so no release date or release price or anything like that. But it looks like a cool concept.
I kind of going to be all over that one.
Yeah, that's why I wrote it down, because I had a feeling it was right up your alley.
Yep.
There was actually one more I didn't write down, and I'm going to go off the top of my head with it. It was that bounce game. It was like a VR arcade pinball game where you go inside the pinball machine. Do you remember that one?
You are the pinball machine.
That one looked really cool, too. I didn't make note of that one. Oh, and Budget Cuts was showing off, too.
That one I'm excited. I'm really excited for that one.
Good stuff. This was, no audio issues in this showcase. Good content. Got me so fiending excited for our next Ruff Talk VR gaming showcase next March. First week of March.
Well, and I mean, dude, the fact that Meta's not doing a showcase this year, it just makes like what Upload's doing, I'll say the showcase we're going to put out that much more valuable for both the consumer and the developers. I mean,
so Upload VR showcase was this last week. They have another one coming in the wintertime.
Yep.
And then our Ruff Talk VR gaming showcase is going to be the first Friday in March of 2025. So developers, if you got anything to show off around that springtime, which, March and April, the last couple of years have been loaded months.
Pretty good, yeah.
I'm actually excited that we pushed that extra month.
This could be very interesting this
year.
year.
So I'm so hyped for the Ruff Talk VR gaming showcase this year, but huge props to Upload VR for doing the damn thing, being one of the leading media sources for written journalism in VR. Just huge props. A lot to talk about today. We could have gone double the time. Easy, just off notes. I'll give us props. Last week it seems like we're getting the flow of the storyboard.
We're getting it better.
Week by week, man. The show's improving. And again, you'll see our Silent Slayer nice t-shirts here. The podcast this month is sponsored by Silent Slayer from Shell Games. So huge appreciation to them for, showing us the love in that regard. But it's a great freaking game. We wouldn't take them as a sponsor if it wasn't a game that we love.
It was the same with the showcase sponsors.
So it was meant to be. It was a partnership made, match made in heaven, as they say. So Silent Slayer, awesome puzzle game. If you think it's like, oh no, can't do horror games and stuff, it's not like a scary game by any mean.
Not blood and gore.
There is a jump scare if you fail.
Well, but
you'll laugh after the jump scare. It's like one of those jump scares,
and if people are watching you play, I guarantee they're going to laugh.
If you get it, be sure to use the discount code that we have in our show notes. It's, a code that's a bunch of numbers and letters followed by Ruff Talk VR. So I'll say visit the show notes, the episode description. You can copy the code there, and be sure to click the link that we have there that brings you to the Silent Slayer page as well. And again, huge thank you to our Patreon peeps, all the peeps that partake in our Discord. Don't forget, you can support the show on Patreon. There we have YouTube memberships. If you like the episode on YouTube, you comment, you share it, you rate us 5 stars, you check out our merch store. It can be monetary, non-monetary, just showing us love. All that stuff means so much. And it helps podcasters, helps YouTubers. Hell, when you go and you rate a game developer's game 5 stars, helps them so much. It's the same thing. So all those are ways you can support the show. And stay tuned for a great interview on Wednesday.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Anything else?
No, man.
That's it.
I'm good.
I'm good, mate.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap, mate.
That's a show. But we got 2 this week, so stay tuned for Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Ciao, ciao.
Take care.